Hello everyone, it's Mr. Welch here. We're welcome to Game Design and Animation. Firstly, we're going to do some videos about different tutorials that we can do for Game Maker, and Game Maker is all about making games. Now, the first tutorial that we're going to do is about a game like Fruit Ninja, where there's a bunch of different fruit moving around the screen. We click on it, and then it goes to a random position. All the time there are bombs appearing, and if you click on a bomb, the game ends. So it sounds like a little bit of work, but we're going to learn a few key skills, okay? So the first thing we need to do is open Game Maker. So press the Windows key, type in Game Maker, and it looks something like that. Just open it up. And we always want to go continue using the Light Edition. Now, it might seem like it's not doing anything, but it does take a little bit of time to start up. Now you can see that our first tutorial we're going to do on the right hand side here. Now I'm just going to be reading along with this. You can stop the video and go through the tutorial yourself if you want to, but I'm going to talk about a few key things. There you can see the game, and we're just going to move through. Now the Game Maker program has different areas, so we've got sprites, objects and rooms, and they're the main things that we're going to look at. So the sprites are just the images. We then turn the sprite into an object, and the object is what moves around the screen, and the object is what we can get things to do. And the room is where we play the game. So, reading through, adding sprites, we're going to add the different images for all of the fruits, and for the bomb, and for the walls as well. Now, creating a sprite is the red Pac-Man. Click on that, and you can see we've got a new dialog box open up. We go load sprite, and we're working from tutorial 1. So you should see the sprites straight away when you open the program. If you don't see it, you go to Program Files, Game Maker number 8, Tutorials, Sprites, and Tutorial 1. Now we're going to start with the apple. So we just click on the apple, then open it up. Now a couple of things should change. We get the picture of the apple there, and in the sprite section here, we get a picture of the apple. Now, we don't want to have it as sprite 0, because if we have a game where we have 50 different sprites, there'd be sprite 0 through to 49. That's not a great way to name things. We're going to call it SPR, standing for sprite, then underscore apple, because that's what it is. It's the sprite for the apple. And that's all we do. We click on OK. I'm going to go ahead and make the sprites for all of those different items. So red Pac-Man, load sprite, I'll do the banana next, SPR underscore banana. Next one, load sprite, bomb, SPR underscore bomb. I'll let you go through, do this quite quickly. This is the easy part. It doesn't take us much to make these sprites. What we do want to do with them is make the object. Right, for the cherry. And last but not least, I'm going to have to sprite for the wall. If you've made a mistake in naming it like what I've done, just double click, it'll open it up again, and you can just go ahead and change it. Now, once we've got the sprites, this is just the long-winded way of doing it. Click on the File menu and press Save. Now, at the end of doing everything, we want to save it. So go Save As, and make sure you save it in your student drive. So this PC, and you'll see it in your student drive somewhere here, okay? I'm just going to save mine on the desktop because I'm doing it at home. Save it as my first game. Done. Now it's important that you do that at the end of each step, or if you haven't done anything, do it every 5 or 10 minutes because you don't want to lose your work. We've made all the sprites. The next thing we want to do is make objects. So remember, the sprites are just the pictures. The objects are what actually moves around the screen, or the objects are what we can click on and things like that. It's really easy for us to create an object. We use the blue ball here, and you get a dialog box that looks pretty similar to the sprite one. Now, we're going to make the 6 different objects. So with the sprite, we go our first one, which is apple. So you can see that the picture for the apple is there, and the picture is also in this file directory on the left-hand side. We want to rename it. So we're going to call it obj underscore apple. OBJ standing for object, and then it's the object of the apple. Once we've done that, we click on OK. Now you might see the solid there is unticked. We don't want this to be solid. There is one object that we want to be solid. Have a guess which one you think it is. OBJ underscore banana is the next one. And we'll choose the sprite for the banana. And I'm going to keep on going along and do all 6 of them. OBJ underscore bomb. OBJ underscore cherry. OBJ underscore strawberry. And if you were having a game in your head, OBJ underscore wall, and the wall we need to tick on solid. So we want the wall to be solid. We don't want anything to pass through this wall. So in any game that we make, the wall will definitely need to be solid. Now we've added our 6 different objects in. Save the work again just by clicking the save button. And we move on. Now we're going to start by getting the apple to move around and give us a score. Now, when we play this game, we want the apple. Let me just open it up. Now, in our object thing, you can see we've got events and we've got actions. Now, events are dependent on what you want it to do. Some basic ones. The create is for when the apple is created. Or if we're starting the game, it's when the game is started. There are things like collisions. So when it collides with something, we can get it to do something. For the mouse, when we click on it or when the mouse is dragged over it, we can get it to do something. When we type a keyboard, well, that is what we'll do when we use the arrows for movement. We want it to do something. The first thing we're going to get the apple to do is move around on the screen. So we want to go create. And you can see in there the event for the create. We're going to drag in these red arrows here. Now these are going to be your friend for the next turn. All of these arrows are very important. This is how we get anything to move. Now I'm going to choose the direction, being all 8 different ways. And I'm going to set the speed being 8. Whatever you do, do not tick relative. Relative means it's going to keep on adding 8 to the speed every single time. So it's going to start off at a speed of 8, and then next second it'll be 16, next second it'll be 24, and it'll keep on going up. So, when the game is created, we want it to move in any direction. There's our next step there. So we're all finished there, moving on. Now, there are a few other things. We're going to have a wall on the outside of the room to keep all the fruit in. So we need to set up an event for when the apple collides with the wall. Add event, collision, and when you press collision, all your different objects come up. And you need to choose what you're wanting it to collide with. So when the apple collides with the wall, we want it to bounce off the wall. Now, it's very easy to make things bounce. Choose this one here, which is bounce. And we just click OK. So when the game's created, it starts moving. When it collides with the wall, it bounces against the solid object. Now what we want to do is to click on it. So add event, mouse left pressed. So whenever we click on things, we want it to be left pressed. And this is what we're going to do. When we click on the apple, we want it to jump to another position. We want it to jump to somewhere completely random. Now in our jump section here, we've got jump to a fixed position. We've got jump to the start. This one is what we're going to use, jump to random, the X to the question mark. Drag that in, click OK. Now, whenever we click on it, we want to give ourselves a score, so we've got a bit of an incentive. In the score tab here, the set score one is the 3 coins on the grey background. Now that's going to be important. You're going to need to do this for most games because most games we like to get a score. So set the score here. I'm going to give us 50 points and tick relative. Whenever you're doing the score, it's important to tick relative because that means it's going to add up. If you don't tick relative, then anytime you press the apple, you'll only get 50 points and there'll be 50 points on the high score, no matter how many times you click on the apple. Now there's all of our things done. We've got it moving, we've got it bouncing, and when we click on it, it jumps to a random position and it sets the score. Click on OK to save your changes, save your work as well. Next thing we want to do is actually have somewhere to play this game, and that's called a room. Now, the room button is this one here. With all those things, you can also go to resources and create a room. So we're going to do that once. Do not press it more than once because that makes more rooms and it gets very confusing. Now, expand it so you can see everything. We're going to do a couple of changes. This grid is 16 by 16, and if I click the wall in, it doesn't really fit that well. We're going to change these two numbers to 32 and 32 straight away. So that way when we get our wall, it fits perfectly in the square. Now you just go along and you click to get the wall in. To change the sprite, this little button here gives you the different sprites that you can use. If you've made a mistake, right click on it and it'll get rid of it. So I'm going to add the wall. You can click it automatically, or a cheap way is you hold down shift and then drag the mouse along. I'm doing this on a mouse pad, so I'm not very accurate, but you can see the general gist. And of course, if you make a mistake, like I have done here, right click will get rid of it. Now let's add a couple of apples in. Let's do 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the 4 corners there. Now we don't need to worry about where they go because they're going to move straight away anyway. If we keep on moving on, then we're done. We've got our apples in. This green tick will save your changes. Close the form, save your work, and now we're at the fun part, which is testing the game. Now, when we're testing the game, the first thing we do is we click on this green play button. It's important to run the game, and that's how we see if we've got any errors, if there's things work, or if things don't work. So the green play button is what we need, and we'll run the game. So when we look at this game now, you can see that the apples are bouncing around, that they're moving in all the different directions. Now if I click on it, let me try and get this one. Missed it. Got it. See how we get 50 points up here and it moves. Let's try again. 100 points. Let's try again. Oh, come on. 150. Keeps on moving around. 200. 250. Alright, so everything seems to be working, which is really good. Now, you can always change it, see how that's moving backwards and forwards. It's a lot easier to get. You could get rid of those movements in the Apple object, so that way it always moves in the diagonal like this one that's moving around here, and that's quite challenging to get. But then again, this is your game, it's up to you. Once you finish playing the game, press the X. Don't worry, you won't lose your work. Especially because you've been saving it every 5 minutes, you're not going to lose any work. Now we've done the apple. The next thing we need to do is move on and do our, it says add a background. Okay, let's add a background. Our background is this one here, create a background. Choose our background. Now it gives us one that we can use, being the wood. So I'm going to choose that. You've got different options there. You can also use pictures as backgrounds and things like that, but we'll get into that later. So we just go OK, and then in our room again, we can choose to add a background like there. So I've just gone, so objects is where we add the objects. I've just gone to the backgrounds there and just added the background by using that selection tool. Green tick to save your work, and that should be fine. Now, moving on, adding a sound. Now, I'm going to show you how to do it, but this sounds really annoying, so you don't have to do it. We can add a sound effect to the game, so we click on the speaker icon here, which is create a sound, and we're going to load a sound. Now, it gives us one that we can use. It is called load sound button, click.wav. So where we've got it, where's click.wav? Let's use click one here because that seems to be working. Alright, open there, and we go OK. So there's our sound. I probably should rename it, and I'll call it click. Sorry, I'll rename it again. Probably should call it SND for sound underscore click. So we've got our sound here. We want to attach it to the object apple. So double click on the apple. Now, we got to be careful. When we click on the object, that's when we want the sound to play. So left pressed, and we're going to go sounds, play sound. So we're going to play the sound at the very start. I'm going to choose the click here. It says loop being true or false. Now, if you want this sound to keep on playing over and over again, you'll press true. Chances are you don't want it, so you'll press false. Go OK. So remember, this goes in order. Play the sound, jump to random position, set the score. Okay, let's play and see how this goes. Alright, backgrounds there. Let me click one. 1, 2. Everything's working. I'll get out of that and I'll save my work as well. It's important once you got something working to save it. Okay, you don't want to make a mistake and then not be able to go back to the game when it was working. Now it says you can do a background sound there. I don't want to do that because it's really annoying. Definitely not adding music. You can figure that out yourself. Now we want to do the fruit, okay? So we've got the apple in there. Let's work on the banana. So the events will be the same. Add event, create, move our arrows in there, the different ways to move. Now to make this game harder, let's increase the speed. So I'm going to set next event is collision with the wall, and we want it to bounce. Add event, mouse, left press, and there's 3 things again. Let's go the main 1 to sounds here. And let's play that click sound. Go to move. Let's jump to a random position. And then last but not least, set the score. Let's make it 75. And make sure you tick relative as well. Always have to tick relative whenever you're doing the score. That should be fine. Now, what you need to do is make sure you go to the room and put some bananas in there, because it won't work if you don't put it in there. I'm going to put 3 bananas in there. Green tick. Let's play it and make sure that everything's moving like it should be. Yep, everything's moving around. I'm not going to be able to click a banana, but I'll try. Well, there we go, 1. And we got 75 points there. Let's see what happens when I click an apple. 125, so we're all good. Everything's moving around. Excellent. Cool. Get out of that, and I'll save my work because that's a working game. Let's do the next one with the cherry. So add event, create, bring all the arrows in to make it move around. Same thing, I'll increase the speed. First one was 8, next one was 10. This one should be 12. Add event, collision with the wall. We want it to bounce. Add event, mouse, left pressed. We're going to go main 1 to do the sound of the click. We're going to go to move and then jump it to a random position. And then we're going to go to score and we'll put the score in there and we'll make it 100. Go on, you've earned it. Relative as well. Click OK. Last but not least, go to the room, expand it out, put the cherry in. 1, 2. Let's make sure it works. Oh, that's quick. Apple. Cherry. There we go. 150. 250. Yep. Got a real fruit salad going on here. Cool. Save the work. Now our last one. Now you can go through and do that all yourself. Another quick way to do it is right click and duplicate. So you can see we've got object 60. Now let's just change a couple of things. Let's call it object underscore strawberry. Let's change the sprite to being the strawberry. And the only thing we need to change is the direction. Direction stays the same, but we'll make the speed a little bit quicker. When we click on it, let's set the score being 125. So that's a really quick way. Now you can see you've got an object strawberry there with nothing. I'm just going to right click, delete it. Very important to do that so you don't have too many of the same, getting you confused, okay? So strawberry's all done. Go OK. Let's go to the room, put it in there. Now I'm going to be tough and put just 1 strawberry in. Click on OK. Let's play the game to have a look. So everything's moving around. That strawberry is very quick. Let me try and click on it. Oh, I missed it. Sorry. Oh no, come back. There we go. 125 points. Haha. Let's see if we can get some apples. There's one. Very good. 225, excellent. So all the scores are working, that's the main thing. Get rid of it, save your work, because you have done a very good job to keep up with me until this point. Now at this stage we don't have a way for the game to end, so what we need to do is get the bomb moving around. So let's double click on the object for the bomb, add event, create, and let's move the bomb around. Let's go all the different directions. And I'm going to set the speed being 6. So I'm going to make it nice and slow. But what we're going to do is every couple of seconds we're going to put a new bomb in the game. So the challenge is going to be that the bomb keeps on adding and adding, and you're going to have more bombs to click on. Now we do that with alarms. Alarms are like a timer where we set a timer, and when the timer goes off, something happens. The first thing we want to do is to set the timer at the start. So in the create event where we've got it moving around, we're going to go to main 2 over on this side here, and go to the timing and set an alarm. Now there are 30 steps every second, so I'm going to make it 90 steps. Every 3 seconds this alarm will go off, and we're going to add a new bomb. So the number of steps is 90 in alarm number 0. Remember that alarm number 0. What we're going to do, add event, collision with the wall. Same thing, the bomb's going to be moving around. We need it to bounce off the walls. Add event, let's do the alarm one. So alarm and alarm 0. I hope you remembered that. Now this is what's going to happen when that alarm goes off. Whatever's in here will happen every 30 seconds. So we're going to create a new bomb. Go to main 1, and this little light bulb here is create instance. So drag that in. We want to create an instance of the bomb. An instance just means we're going to create that object. And we click OK. Then when that bomb is created, we don't want it to stay in the same position. We want it to be random. So we're going to jump to a random position. Now you might think we need to set the alarm again, but remember, when this bomb is created, this event happens. So as soon as that second bomb is created, it starts moving, and then we set a new alarm to 3 seconds. And that will happen no matter how many bombs go into the game. Let's just see if this works first, and then we'll worry about clicking on it. So go OK, go into the room. I'm going to choose one bomb and put it there. Green tick, press the play button. And if this works, every 3 seconds we should get a new bomb. There's the bomb there. Now I don't know why, but that first one always goes there for some reason. Now you can see the bombs are joining in, going around like that. So you can see this game is going to be progressively harder the more that you play it. So, now that we see that that's working, let's exit out of it, save the game, and let's get this game ending, okay? On the bomb, add event, mouse, left press. That doesn't change. So when we click on it, obviously we want some different things to happen. What we're going to do is we're going to not set the score, but this 1, 2, 3 will show the high score. Drag that in. Now you can choose a background if you want to. I'm not worried about that. I'm going to do black for the old colour, and for the new colour, let's go a nice blue. And for the font, let's go about it size 16 to make it bigger. And let's go where's a nice font? Let's do Cooper. Why not? Okay. Now when we click on it, we're going to show the high score table. So everything will stop and we put the high score table up there. Then what we want to do, main 2, is restart the game. So when they've clicked on the bomb, the game ends, we show the high score, restarts. Now, if I go through, we've added the bombs, created the bombs, things like that. Excellent. We're nearly at the end. Let me play this game. Okay, there's our bomb moving around. It's getting created. Let me click on this one here. Yep, that's still excellent. Cool. And get a banana. As I said, let me get a banana. No, never mind. Let's click on this bomb. Okay, there we go. High score. Mr. Welsh. With my nice blue. Click on OK. Let's start again. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Oh, wrong thing. Mr. Welsh again. Let's give it one more go. 1. Aha. 2, 3. Come back here, Apple. 4, 5. Alright, done. Excellent. Everything seems to be working. Now, there are obviously some things that you can do to fine tune it. You can add a sound for the bomb. Load sound, and I believe that there is one that's called explosion or something. What about tutorial 1? There it is. Explosion. Cool. So let's call this SND explosion. Save it. Go to the bomb. And when we click on it, main 1 to drag the sound in, and we're going to do the explosion. So we can hear it go off. Play the game. Alright, we know everything's working. I'm just going to click the bomb. Cool. How good's that? Let's do it again. If you missed that. Yeah, good stuff. Alright. There's our first game done. Now you can change things. You can add walls into the room to make it harder. You could increase the speed of the bomb to make it harder. You could have them appear every 2 seconds to make it harder. There are so many things that you can do. It's up to you to really have fun with this one. Change it to what you would like it to be. But really well done for keeping up with me. Save your game because we're all finished, and have fun playing with other people, okay? The next game that we'll do, it'll be on Compass, and you can choose which one you'd like to do. But no worries, you've done really well. So thanks, guys. Mr. Welch, signing out.